Hello guys, my name is Diego Costa and welcome back to Python tutorial for beginners. For today's lesson we're going to be looking at lists. And if we think of a variable as a box, we can think of a list as a collection of boxes containing data. Each box has an address starting at 0. If you've noticed, I was reading from the PDF. The following code produces a list called names. Let's actually copy that down. Names equals, now we're using square brackets, not curly brackets for this. We use square brackets. Name equals alf is the first one, that will be 0, because we start at 0 for lists. Betsy will be our first. Our first in terms of the address or the index is called 1, but it's the second value in the list, but we refer it as the first. Regard it as number 1, and that's the second in the list. That thing can actually catch you out. Whenever you're writing code, you can make a mistake where you forget, oh yes, I need to start. We start from zeros, not from 1. So that can actually catch you out. So very important to not forget that we start at 0. And David. So the next task is telling me we can access an element of the list by giving its index in square brackets. So print names 2. Now that won't print a Betsy, that'll print Charlie, because again 0, right here 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we go to F5 to run, names not defined. Oh, not names, name. I named it incorrectly. Oops. Names. There we go. Charlie, as you can see over here. We'll print Charlie, yes. We can also alter the contents of the list. But before we do that, if you wish to print the whole list, there you go. But the issue with when you do that is it prints out these square brackets and the speech marks and the comma. There are ways to avoid that, but for now we won't be looking at that. And if you just print one item in the list, it'll print out without it. It'll just print the exact contents of that. The exact string value in that address index. Yeah, so these over here, 0, 1, 2, 3 are referred. You can refer them as elements, indexed, address. There are many words you can use. Usually the word is index dot element is usually used. So the second element in the list, index 2, whatever, right? So one thing we can do is we can alter the contents. And I'd like to show over here, one way of altering is doing this. Names 2 is equal to Bob. So what we're doing is we're assigning Bob to names, to the list names in the second index, so 0, 1, 2. So what will that do? That'll get rid of Charlie and place Bob instead, because it detects, oh, there's already something in the list. Let me just override that. Let me just place this here. Let me just remove that and place Bob instead. So print names 2, and you'll see that in action. So first prints Charlie, then prints Bob, because let's override it. Next. Yep, change the list. Yeah, we've explained that. So print Bob. If we start off with our list as empty, we can create it into 2 empty square brackets. Yep. So if you were just to create an empty list, just write names equals 2 brackets. There's a list, nothing inside it. And one way we can add on stuff. So instead of giving us our index, instead of saying, oh, names square brackets 0 equals names square brackets 1 equals, what you can do is you can write names dot append, which just means add on to the list. And since the list is empty, that'll be the first element of our list. If it was full, so if it did have all of these and you just wanted to append more stuff, which you can, that'll be the 5th element. So the next thing you add on to over here will be the 5th element. So if you were to just do an append over here, it'll go to the 5th element. Let's copy out this lot and let's change the names. So we got Anita, Murshid, I don't know, Hamesh. I think they need to use non-English names. due to so that OCR doesn't get sued for inequality. Betsy Anita Merst Hemish. Oh, that went off. Oops. Let's go list. There we go. So, there we go. So yeah, that prints off the whole list of names as it should have here. And again, it appears in the square brackets because we're attempting to print the whole list of names. Now, oh, I did not see this. Let's just do that. Not see that. So, name.pop. Oh, because that's added afterwards. Okay, that's fine. So, yeah. So, let's print it off. Let's see what happens. So, we do pop. What does pop do? As you can see, it got rid of something. It got rid of Anita. And that's what pop does. You tell it what index and just get rid of it. Pop it out of the list. So yeah, to remove it out from the list, we use the pop method if we want to remove by index. So this is if we want to remove a certain element from the list. It's not a certain string. We just tell it, remove the 5th element from the list. You know, names.pop. Pop it out. If we know that the item we want to remove, we can use the remove function. So instead of using the pop, there is another way of doing it. So we can either use this, or we could use the names.remove. So if you want a certain string to be removed, of course in this case they've used Anita again, but yeah, let's just copy all this. Right? Have some spaces. So if we want to remove a certain string, what we'll do over here is we'll just tell it, oh, remove anything in the list with this string, with Anita. And again, it will print out, no Anita there again. It will also output, yeah. To get a number of items, we use the len. Okay, this. So let's do x equals len. Now what does len do? Len is just a short way of writing length. Python likes doing this writing things in a short way. For example, string, you write str. Integer, you write int. But for some reason, you don't write float any shorter. Float is written exactly how it's spelt for some odd reason. So x equals length, or len, if you wish to say it the short way, but it's just length. It just means length. And names. So now when you load that, we didn't tell it to print. Oops. Print. Then we can print, so we can actually see the length of the list. There we go. 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. See? We get the length. And let's actually name this length. So let's actually use proper variable names. And that's convention. Yeah, it makes x the number of names in the list. Yep, and we've printed it out. Oh yeah, let's switch also this to that. There we go. We can cycle through the list with a loop. Yes. So let's not create the list again. What we'll just do is just do for I. You can use multiple things. You can say for x, for names, in names. There's much you can do. The usual convention is using stuff like I and X. That's a convention. So if you wish to follow convention, you can just say start off convention. I'm not going to follow convention, but it's good to follow convention. Print I, and what this will do is this will print the names, all the names, but without those square brackets, speech marks, commas, and all of that, like I was complaining about previously when you just do print names. If you wish to print the elements in the list, all of them, this will do it line by line because it's looping through. So, arrays versus lists. Okay, this is something that's very important. You have to understand the difference between an array and a list. Most languages use arrays rather than lists, so you may come across the term array being used in similar contexts. Python does not have arrays available, but lists are much more commonly used. The two main differences between the two are lists can hold different sorts of data, whereas an array usually depending on the language, only hold one data type. So what this means is a list you can usually put strings, integers, and all that together. With arrays, only strings, only integers, only floats. This can change size as new items are added, whereas in most languages, arrays have size declared at the start. Yep. Size of an array is usually declared at the start of the array, so you cannot modify it. You cannot like, oh, I want to append all this, but it would like, no, out of range, sorry, the array only goes up to this. So let's go for the first task here, because these are just examples. Let me actually put it here. Examples. These are just examples. Let's go on to our first task. Task 11a. Write a program that keeps asking for names until the word end is entered, at which point it prints out the list of names. Okay, let's do that then. So let's do, I'll say, a while loop. So let's write name is equal to, no, let's do an input first. So let's say, yeah, name equals input, please enter name. Please enter name. Now there are different ways you can do this. Now you could use is a while true. So there's no condition, that's always true. Or you could just say, you know, while name is not equal to this. But, you know, in which way should I do it? Yeah, let's do while name not equal to end. So while the name's not equal to end, actually what we should probably do is actually do this. Like that. So we can repeat the input, then run a program that until the word end is entered, at which point print out the list of names. Then let's put over here, let's say print you have entered. Now we're going to do is plus the length. Oh yeah, what we're going to have to do is we're going to say names dot append name has been entered. Okay, so first of all, one is a new list. So be true. We want this outside. So it's all empty. Then we want to append. Then we want to look at the length of names. So you have entered, yeah, names plus and space over here. Okay. And print out names. Names not defined. We'll just define name equals. We'll just define name right over here. Okay. Please enter name. So let's go through over here. Alfred, Bradley, Connor, David, Emily, and convert int. Forgot to convert this into a string. Now let's run this. Alfred, Bradley, Connor, David, Emily, end. You've entered 6 names. And it's counted end as a name. Okay, we don't want that. Because I need to put this outside. Don't I? Then it will ask me once, right? Yeah, exactly, I don't want that. It's only gonna ask me once. You know what? It's just better, let's just do it as a true. Just mark it as true. Names. Let me just modify some of these variables. So if name is not equal to end, then append. It should have just done all this. Else, no, what I'll say is, if name is equal to end, then do this. There we go. Hold on. Can this here, please? Yeah, okay. There we go. Now let's run this. Bradley, Connor, David, Emily, end. I've entered 3 names. What? What did I do wrong? Oh, I know. This. Let's try that again. Because I changed the variable, I did not modify that part of the code. Okay. Bradley, Connor, David, Emily, end. There we go, 5 names. But we don't ask anymore. Break out this break so it doesn't ask anymore. Okay. It's easier just to do a while true than do if statements, and you should have just done a while true. It's just simpler, I think. Task 11b. Write a program that asks the user to enter 5 names, which stores it into a list. Next, get it to pick one of these names at random and declare the person as a winner. Hint, you'll need to generate random numbers as task 9c. So, I don't know if you guys remember, we did look at random numbers, and one thing we have to do straight away is, let me just put it right on the top, is import random. Now let's go on to task 9c and let's see how we exactly do that to jog our memories. 9c. So here we go. Is the import random. That's what we need to use. So let's just copy that over. Let's go back onto lists. Task 11b. Let's right over here. Let's call this random number. And they want so it's 5 names. So it's between 1 to 5. Well, actually, it's between 0 to 4. Actually, because remember, lists start at 0. So there we go. So it's actually between 0 to 4. So we need to ask, yeah, so please answer. So one of the things we can do is we can just say for I in range of 5, so loop this 5 times. Name equals input. Please enter name. Enter name. Oh. Let's actually create a list of it as well. This is the name list. Yes, we're calling it the same thing as previously. Well, I call this names list. This is name list. But so we don't have to do this code again, let's just comment this out. So we don't have to, so this code won't run. Oh, none of this as well. Let's comment this out. We don't want to see that, so let's comment this out as well. Name list, name equals input, then let's also append it then. Name list dot append, and it appends the name. And once that is done, so once that's done, so let's get out of the while loop, so that I'll do 5 times. not the while loop, the for loop. Let's get out of that loop, and then let's print out, yeah, then let's get a number actually. So we got the random, then let's print out, well done, plus name list, name that random number plus space, you are the winner. So let's run this, and let's copy what exactly they should have here. Sarah. It's a bit different, as you can see, the way they've done it and the way I'm doing it. Nathan. Well done, Nathan. So there we go. Done. So, the next one over here. So this is like a challenge. The sieve of Eratosthenes is an algorithm to find prime numbers. The algorithm goes as follows. Eratosthenes invented a method for efficiently constructing tables of prime numbers. The method, the sieve Eratosthenes, it goes like this. First, write down a list of integers beginning with 2, ending with some number, say 20. Then mark all multiples of 2, move to the unmarked numbers, which in this case is 3, then mark all multiples, continue in this fashion, making all multiples the next unmarked number until the final result in the last. Write a program that prints out all the prime numbers below 1000. Here you'll need to use the mod, which gives us the remainder, yeah, which gives the remainder of a division operation. So x equals 11, mod 5 would give 1, as 11 divided by 5 equals 2, remainder 1. Right. Is it using this method? Let's use. So since this is a challenge question, this question I'll be doing in a separate video as it can get quite lengthy. So I'm going to end over here, and I will be doing a video on how to answer this question. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time when I'm going to be doing string handling. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.